Well, good morning. It's nice to see you all and some familiar faces. I'm Ryan Miller, and I've been here at Terwilliger Plaza for the past 4 years. And for the past 3 years, I've had the honor of serving as Terwilliger Plaza's president and CEO. I'd like to start off by saying thank you for joining our Terwilliger Plaza 101 webinar and considering Terwilliger Plaza as a future home. While we'd love you to join us here at Terwilliger Plaza, what's most important to all of us is that you find the home that's best for you. And hopefully, by hearing more about Terwilliger Plaza today, it'll help you be one step closer to making that decision. A little bit about me. I've held campus leadership positions in our nonprofit CCRC industry for the past 16 years here in Oregon, Napa, California, Seattle, Washington, and once again back here in Portland, Oregon. Being an Oregon native and from here in the Willamette Valley, I've been working hard throughout my career to get back here to Oregon. So I found a great home at Terwilliger Plaza. I don't live here. When I say home, I mean back to the area. I don't live at Terwilliger Plaza, despite sometimes it feels like it. But I plan to be here with Terwilliger Plaza for many, many years to come. It's been a great fit for me and my family to be back in this area. Terwilliger Plaza is unique. It's a unique community for many reasons. Many we'll cover today. And to build some suspense, I'll resist the urge to list those off for you right now so that you can hear more about them from the rest of our team throughout this presentation today. If you want to know more about anything we talk about today, or you want to speak with me, please let us know. I hope you enjoy the rest of today's presentation, and I look forward to the opportunity to meet each of you at one of our on-site events in the future. All right, I'll turn it back over to the team.
Hello, everybody. We're grateful that you're spending your morning with us. I am Joanne Bauman. A lot of people around here call me JoJo. So I'm here to talk a little bit about what makes us unique. First off, I got to backtrack. We have any educators out there, former teachers, former educators? Show of hands. See a few. Our community was a dream shared by a math teacher many, many decades ago named Lesta Howell, and she envisioned a place where teachers could live when they retired. And so with a loan by the Oregon Retired Teachers Association, we opened our doors in 1962. Some people remember running down the hill down Terwilliger Boulevard, jogging, going around that track. Our building was pink back then. We've had lots of changes since that time, but one thing that has remained the same, we still attract a lot of former teachers. We have a lot of former people that live here, that their grandparents lived here, aunts and uncles lived here. So we've been a force in Terwilliger Plaza, in Portland for a very long time. And one of the things that makes Terwilliger Plaza unique is that we've been here so long. We're a well-oiled machine. We are not part of a corporation. We are a single site, nonprofit continuing care retirement community, sometimes referred to as a CCRC, and that's how we'll reference that today. And it's for 62 and older or better. I like to say that. Somebody wrote in that they wanted to know about the age. What's the average age here? And it's kind of hard to narrow that down. You have to be at least 62. We have quite a few people that are in their 60s that chose to move in. And we've got people that have been here. There's one person, she's been here 31 years now, still in her independent living apartment. But you do have to be 62. We encourage people not to wait too long before they decide to move in. But being not a corporation, we do not have any sister communities. There are 5 other continuing care retirement communities in the area, and we are the only one. We're not part of anybody else. Nobody owns us. Our executive team works here, Ryan being one of them, Andy, Fitzgerald, I saw on the call. She is our Chief Operating Officer. You just walk down the hall and chat with them. They're always happy to talk with our members. We are accredited by CARF International since 1997. That's 29 years. And I don't know if anybody out there know anything about CARF. It stands for Commission of Accreditation of Rehab Facilities. And it's well known in the CCRC world. Only 10% of CCRCs in the country are accredited. So we are thrilled that we're one of them. The process to become accredited is rough. It's rigorous. It takes a lot of time by our staff. And the process to become accredited, you have to meet or exceed 1,200 gold standards of governance, finance, health, and safety. So when you're out touring other places, you might ask them if they're CARF accredited. We're also Sage Care Platinum credentialed provider. Sage Care is a division of SAGE, which stands for Services and Advocacy for the LGBTQ community. And it's the largest and oldest dedicated to improving the lives of older LGBTQ plus community. There's no required meal plan for independent living. Did you hear that? Most places have some kind of meal plan, but nope, we have a restaurant, we have a deli. Feel free to go to any of those. You can make your own dinner, go over to your neighbors, eat downtown. We're all about choices. So no required meal plan here. Art lovers, we have got 1,800 pieces or more of art. It's a mix between originals and prints. And it's just like you walk down the hall, it's like walking in a gallery. You can get your steps in for those people that are looking for their 10,000 steps, just walking around, getting your steps in, looking at art. Another wonderful thing about Terwilliger Plaza is that we have live music every Friday night. And this is something, we get our intel from the people that are out touring and they come and tell us. And I have heard we're the only community that has live music on Friday nights, and that is helped funded by our foundation. And we encourage people, any of you, if you want to come listen on a Friday night, we have that posted on our website. An IT department, who's been on their keyboard and clicking enter, 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 and you have problems and you're not getting anywhere. We have a fantastic IT department, and they are available 2 times a month. And this also is provided by our foundation. So the program's called Bring Your Device. So if you have a new tablet, an iPhone, something new, you're just stuck on something, you can go to our Heights Lounge and our IT department will help you with it. If you got something a little bit more complicated, you can make an appointment with IT and they'll come up to your apartment. Another unique feature with Terwilliger Plaza is where we are located. We have easy access to this beautiful green space behind us and the downtown location that Jessica is going to be talking to you more about. But I bring that up because sometimes when you get older, you're not comfortable with driving, or you came from another city or state and you don't know the streets. We do have transportation. We've got about 12 bus lines. We have a bus stop, number 8, very popular around here, stops right outside our building. It takes you up to Pill Hill, the hospitals, up the road, and it takes you all through downtown and up to the Lloyd Center. Very, very convenient. We do have covered parking for our members. That is an additional cost, but we also have a zip car. Thanks again by our foundation for brokering that deal. So if you don't have a car, you want to drive out to the beach today, for a day, you've got maybe 5 appointments, you can rent the zip car. It's just right out the front door. Super convenient. We have, here's another good one. We have a 24/7 nurse in our 2 licensed supportive care buildings. And remember, I'm talking about uniqueness. I don't know of another community that has 24/7 nurse around the clock for assisted living. So that goes into play in what I'm going to be talking about later in this program under health services. We have staff that have been here 30 and 40 plus years. Ryan may have to chime in on that. I think there's somebody that's been here 43 years. That's incredible. And one very, very important distinction is we are representative self-governed. And we have our president and CEO that you just met. I'm going to hand it over to Ryan so he can talk about the uniqueness of the representative self-governance.
Yeah, thank you, JoJo.
Sure.
All right, representative self-governance. So Twilliger Plaza is very unique, not only because we're a single site nonprofit CCRC, but because of our representative self-governance governance structure. So Twilliger Plaza is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And just like every nonprofit corporation, it's controlled and overseen by its board of directors. The two critical features that define Twilliger Plaza as having representative self-governance is that the right and power of Twilliger Plaza members to elect the board of directors and the requirement that the board of directors will always have inside directors, so inside meaning residents, elected to the board as the majority of the board of directors. So we currently have 11 board of directors, 6 of which the majority are you like you and neighbors, members of Twilliger Plaza, elected by the members. And the other 5 are from the business community. We have the outside board members comprised of attorneys, financial advisors, it could be accountants. Currently, we have someone from the Portland State University, someone from OHSU. So we have the board kind of with a variety of different skill sets. So let's dive a little deeper into this representative self-governance. So our members, so residents of Twilliger Plaza, vote to elect the board of directors. And they're responsible, the board of directors are responsible for hiring and overseeing me, the CEO, making key policy and financial decisions based on the recommendations by myself and my executive team. Most CCRCs, unlike most of them, our bylaws, like I mentioned, require, so this is a bylaw requirement that the majority are residents, so members of our community, could be you and your neighbors. Increasingly, more CCRCs are owned by or affiliated with other CCRC organizations and often have a corporate board. So we are very, very much different than that. And so they may operate multiple CCRCs in the region or across the country, across the state, and in many cases have no or minimal resident representation on those boards. And in some cases, that does not guarantee that if they do have resident representation on their boards, that they have the right to vote. So those vary as well. So what it really comes down to is representative refers to the right of our Twilliger Plaza members to elect the board of directors. And while members who are not elected to the board don't make corporate governance decisions, they do decide who makes those decisions by electing their fellow members or their neighbors to the board of directors. And the self-governance part means that Twilliger Plaza, it does not mean that it's resident run. Rather, self-governance means that Twilliger Plaza does not have a corporate or private ownership or oversight, so something along those lines. The plaza is its own operational entity. So how members who are not elected to the board can continue to remain involved in this representative self-governance model and participate They can do so by, like I mentioned, voting for the board of directors, being present and engaged in our annual meetings. We have two annual meetings a year. Attending floor meetings and resident council meetings and voicing their concerns and suggestions. Electing resident council officers and representatives who the COO and I work very closely with. And Andy Fitzgerald, our COO, she may not still be on the call, but she was on the call earlier. You can also serve on the resident council as a representative or officer. You can also nominate board of director candidates. And of course, you yourself could run and, if elected, serve on the board of directors. As a community of what we call ourselves empowered and engaged people, members are encouraged to get involved, volunteer, and serve the community in whichever way best suits them. And I must say, we've challenged this many, many times, but this representative self-governance model, as I've described, is solely unique to Terwilliger Plaza. We have some communities throughout the country who have thought they might have something similar to ours. We talk about it, and we both realize pretty quickly that the way that we do it is very different than some of those other models that that have some similarities. But when it really comes down to it, the majority of our members being the board of directors really is unique to just this community. So I think that's it for me on the representative self-governance side, and I'll pass it off to the next presenter.
And that's going to be me. So hello, everybody. My name's Jessica Moon. I've met some of you I look forward to meeting with. I get the fun part of the presentation today, but it starts with a nerve-wracking trying to share my screen. So give me just a minute here and let's see if this works. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Nope. Okay, so this is the campus for Terwilliger Plaza. I think if you are in the Portland area, most people are very familiar with the building that I'm circling right now. This is the original structure for Terwilliger Plaza. This is called the Tower Building. It's quite a large building. It was opened in 1962. We were founded by the Retired Teachers Association. This building currently has about 200 independent living apartments. Everything from studios, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 1 bedroom plus den, 2 bedroom, 2 bath apartments, incredible views towards the east. I have some slides that I'll show you in just a moment that feature some of those views. We are very excited to announce we're just at the beginning of a remodel project. If you visited previously, this first floor right through here is where our lobby and restaurant is located. We are undergoing a very exciting expansion for that. So we are just at the beginning of that. If any of you have come through the Park View building, which we invite you to come if you haven't, the aesthetics of the restaurant, it's going to greatly increase the size and have a bit more of an aesthetic similar to the newest building. This building also is where some of the common areas are for the whole campus. If you live in any building, we intentionally sprinkled common areas throughout the community. So you'll be bouncing around all of these buildings as a member here. This building, in addition to the restaurant, houses the deli, the salon, the art room, the game room, and some incredible views from different common areas. And there is a rooftop right here. If you are familiar with the Martini Glass House in Portland, Oregon, that's up here on the hill. The building directly underneath that is called the Heights Building. This building was added to our campus in 2008. It added 48 independent living apartment homes. So it's the smallest independent living building that we have on campus if you're looking for something a little bit more intimate. And it also is the building that houses our beautiful aquatic center and wellness center and gym. Excellent programs. I think JoJo's going to talk about that a little bit more in a later portion of the presentation. This building also has 3-bedroom apartments. It's the only building on campus that features 3-bedroom apartments. Every apartment in this building features a private balcony and washer and dryer in the unit as well. Because that was so popular when we were doing the planning for the new Parkview building, which is what I'm circling here, this building opened at the end of 2023, and it added 127 independent living apartments to our campus, in addition to a lot of additional common areas. So there is a glorious rooftop, beautiful views, nice entertaining area, very lovely courtyard area, auditorium. There's a sky lounge. The Sky Bridge connects across 6th Avenue, so you can actually walk through all 5 of our buildings without ever stepping foot outside, which makes it a very integrated community. The Parkview building has what's called a Passive House Design Certification, which is a German concept that focuses on energy efficiency. I checked our website yesterday. It's got this neat little counter. As of yesterday, our current CO2 emissions saved was 1,140,759 pounds, which is the equivalent of planting 8,620 trees and counting. So in addition to the campus that I'm showing you, we have a wonderful location. We are just southwest of downtown, kind of sandwiched between the downtown area, OHSU, and the Portland waterfront. So if you're not from Portland, I just kind of want to show you the access to the greater community. This is off of the rooftop. There's a wonderful sundial on top of the tower building that's got a little directional kind of pointer to all of the different mountains in the range. You can see Mount St. Helens right here. And then the downtown area. We are really close to the TriMet and streetcar pickups right here and PSU. These are some of the views from the tower building. You can overlook the Tillicum Crossing Bridge, Willamette River, Mount Hood, gorgeous views towards the east. And then we are very conveniently located to a lot of very popular areas in Portland. Dunaway Park is directly across the driveway from us. It's a very popular city park. It connects to a track and the Lilac Garden. It connects to the Terwilliger Plaza, or I'm sorry, Terwilliger Boulevard Green Loop in Portland. Just chock-a-block full of biking and hiking and walking trails. Lots of our members utilize those trails. We are just down the hill from OHSU, from the KCI Institute and the Veterans Administration Hospital. We are walking distance, as I showed you, to the Tillicum Crossing pedestrian bridge, and both the downtown Portland and the South Waterfront. So we really have a great location. Just down the road, we also have the Portland Art Museum, the Keller Auditorium. This is the campus of PSU, which is just across the way. The Newmark Center, Oregon Historical Society, lots of great restaurants and parks. So if you're somebody that likes to be out and active, we've kind of got this great location where you can either just walk right off of our campus in about 5 to 10 minutes, you'll be in downtown. You literally walk into the park and the forest, or you can be down to the waterfront quite quickly. Internally at Terwilliger Plaza, I like to tell people what happens when you get a community full of retired professors and educators and social workers and artists. You have a very strong connection to arts and culture and intellectual stimulation in all of the programs that we have. If you want to pop onto our website, there's a lot of information on there. There's over 60 different groups and committees that we're even aware of. Through the representative self-governance, most of those are member started and member operated. Some examples would be our artist in residence program. We've got a diversity awareness committee. We've got our green team, inquiring minds. There's League of Women Voters committee, meditation groups, welcome committee, science club, philosophy club. I really can't count all of them, or we'll be here all day. But if you like authors groups and book groups and mahjong and just really almost anything that you can imagine. But we like to say, if you're an introvert, we have successful introverts that live here too. So just having the opportunity for some of those things to be here is very convenient, as well as the connection to the greater community.
Thank you, Jess. So I don't have any fancy slides like Jess does, so I hope you don't fall asleep. I'm going to share a little bit about some of the finances and membership and how do you become a member and how do you qualify to be a member. A few of the things I mentioned, I think were already mentioned, but I think it's important to kind of reiterate a few of the things that make us different. So we've talked about, and JoJo mentioned, continuing care retirement communities. Some, as you're looking around at the different options here in Portland, some communities like ours that are nonprofit also refer to themselves as life plan communities. When you're comparing CCRC or continuing care retirement communities and life plan communities, those names are interchangeable. Here in Portland, so we are a nonprofit. I think Ryan mentioned nonprofit, 501c3. The IRS recognizes that we are providing a public good, which of course is providing care for seniors. We have here in Portland, when I say we, I say that all the time, but it's not we, Terwilliger Plaza. In Portland, we have 6 different continuing care retirement communities. They're not connected with Terwilliger Plaza. So here in Portland, you have 6 options. And of course, there's a lot of different for-profit communities here in Portland that are not CCRCs. So part of being a CCRC in Portland is we are licensed through the state of Oregon. And with that licensing comes some responsibilities of reporting and meeting certain financial criteria that the state lays out for us. Part of that is so that you don't have to do that. I don't know about most of you, but in my free time, I don't want to read like 70 or 80 pages of someone's financial documents. Well, the state of Oregon looks at those for you. Also, JoJo mentioned CARF International, which is an organization that we are accredited through. They also look very, very closely, page by page, through our financials and look under the cover. So you can be assured that what you see in our financials is legitimate. Let's see. So part of there's also other organizations, by the way. We do have a bond rating, if you will, because we do have some bonds that we have that helped us finance some of our buildings. So Fitch does a bond rating for us. So that's another organization that looks under the covers, if you will, at our financials. We also, within the community, and Ryan talked about the board of directors, we have a finance committee here that is made up primarily of members who live here. They are a very, very talented and dedicated group of members who take a look also at the financials, and they propose, for example, every year, if there is going to be a monthly fee increase, that finance committee will look at all the data for the year and they will propose that. But like I said, they also look at the financials and in coordination with the board, make sure that everything is looking good for us. So, and Ryan mentioned the right to elect the board, and there is actually one comment already in the comment section about our finances for Terwilliger Plaza Public, and the answer to that is yes. If you want the finances, I can send you, or any member on my team can send you, the last 2 years' financials. Those are also available if you know how to find them online. They're online too, but it's probably just easier to get them from us. But that is part of being a nonprofit organization. I would definitely challenge, if some of you are looking at for-profit communities, you give it a whirl. You can ask for their financials. I don't think you'll get them. If you do get them, I'd love to know about it. Let's see. So another big difference. So not only are our financials available, I can email to you. In our library, there are binders. So some people don't want to get on Google or get on email. So we do have a binder in our library that you can access anytime that shows our financials. So it's very transparent. So that's something you'll get at a nonprofit that you won't necessarily get that transparency at a for-profit. Another big difference here is when you think about, okay, we're a nonprofit, so we don't make a profit, right? Well, we do make a profit. However, the big difference is that profit, rather than going to a home office, maybe in another state, maybe not, that profit that we make gets reinvested in this community and stays right here for your benefit. I know JoJo mentioned our foundation a few times, and the foundation, we could probably have a presentation just on the foundation and all the incredible things that the foundation has done for this community over the years. But again, talking about the uniqueness and comparing financially, our foundation, well, there's a separate trust called the Lesta Hoel Trust. So when you're in a nonprofit, and once you've applied, and I'll talk about that in a minute, and you've become a member here, let's say that something happens and you, through no fault of your own, you outlive your resources. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. As a member here, you can apply to our foundation and ask them to help you pay your monthly fee for the rest of the time that you're here. Again, if you were at a for-profit location, if you run out of money and you can't pay your monthly fee and you go talk to the CFO and say, I can't pay my monthly fee, probably within not very many weeks, you're going to have a letter in the mail. It's called an eviction notice. So it's very, very different than here. Now, again, stressing, the foundation isn't going to, if you've decided to go to Greece or give a bunch of money away to your kids, or, any number of things that you can do that you didn't disclose on your application to us. If you do those things, you probably won't get help from our foundation, but it is there if it's a legitimate thing. And frankly, when people come into communities like this, the statistics show that they actually do live longer than the IRS and the insurance longevity tables say you'll live. Membership fees. So yes, so when you come into a nonprofit community like Terwilliger Plaza, you will pay a one-time membership fee. And again, I'll apologize for all the different communities out there. If I had it my way, we'd all get on the same page and we'd all call these things by the same words, but we don't. Here at Terwilliger, we call it a membership fee. Some communities call it a buy-in fee, and some people call it an entrance fee. But those are all the same. So if you're looking at different price sheets and whatnot, membership fee, entrance fee, buy-in fee, all the same. So it's a one-time fee. It is not a real estate transaction. So that's something, as you're talking with your tax people and looking at this as an option, just know that coming to Terwilliger Plaza, you're not buying a piece of property, or it's not a condo. So here at Terwilliger Plaza, we have 3 different types of agreements. A lot of people want to know, okay, fine, I pay that membership fee, and then can I get that money back? So there's 3 options when you come here. You can have what we call a traditional option. Some people call that the non-refundable. And with that one, it is non-refundable after you've lived here for 40 months. Then we also have, in some homes, we have a 50% and an 80% refundable option. And those do require a higher membership fee up front, but you do have that refund depending on which option you select. Okay, what do the membership fees cover? So part of when you come into a community like this, and JoJo mentioned, she'll talk a lot more about our healthcare and continuing care options in a bit. But part of what you pay when you come here is considered prepaid healthcare, prepaid medical expense. So that's part of what your membership fee covers. Also covers remodeling in homes and common areas, capital improvements. For those of you who own a home, you probably know there's a never-ending list of projects. Well, Terwilliger Plaza has that same never-ending list. It's just that when you're here, you don't have to manage it. And I think, yeah, Jessica mentioned that project that we are just starting in the tower. I mean, literally, I've been here 5.5 years, and we've been planning and talking about that project for at least that long. So these things take a lot of time and a lot of money. So thank you for helping us pay for them. So the membership fees here at Terwilliger Plaza are based on a few things. They're based on the location of the home that you choose, the size of the home you choose, what types of amenities are in the home, and then also the view. So if you're in the tower, for example, which is a 12-story building, and you are on the 12th floor and you're looking at Mount Hood, you can imagine that membership fee would be higher than someone on a second or third floor, or perhaps on the west side that has the city views and the Broadway Drive views. So once you pay the membership fee, there is a monthly fee. We call it a monthly maintenance fee. And those fees also, when you're joining a community like Terwilliger Plaza, once you pay the membership fee, the monthly fee tends to be less than if you're in a for-profit community. So, for example, our very, very largest home here is 2,300 square feet. The monthly fee on that one is about $8,000. I mean, it's like 3 times the size of my house. So anyway, it's very big. We have a for-profit community that I'm aware of in town that has, I think it's only about 1,700 square feet, so quite a bit smaller. And their monthly fee is $16,000, $17,000 for that home. So, you know, you can kind of see the difference. So the monthly fees also depend on the size of the home. However, we do have, if you're in a 2-bedroom deluxe, or you're looking at a 2-bedroom deluxe, for example, every single 2-bedroom deluxe anywhere in the tower has the same monthly fee. The only thing that's different is that membership fee, and that's what depends on, view and location, etc. So your monthly fee covers essentially all the operating expenses, all the monthly bills that we pay. In a community like this, 50% of our operating costs, or sometimes a little more, but at least 50% are related to employees, wages and salaries, employment taxes, and training and uniforms and all the things that we have to pay for our staff. Right now, we have about 210 amazing team members who work here. So that's a lot of people doing a lot of things in the community that your monthly fees help us cover. Also, routine monthly expenses, utilities, vehicle costs. We have medical transport, any kind of supplies. Also covers the Terwilliger Plaza property taxes and insurance. Just keep in mind, when I say insurance, when you come here, you do still have to have renter's insurance for your own personal property and your own liability. But the actual building insurance gets paid for by Terwilliger Plaza. Also, in your monthly fee, for those of you who are tired of cleaning and scrubbing things, we every 2 weeks will come and clean your home for you. And then every week, we will, if you give us your sheets and towels in a bag outside of your door, we will wash those that day and bring them back at the end of the day. And that's a weekly service if you'd like it. So the monthly fees here at Terwilliger Plaza, we actually have, I believe, one of the, if not the largest range of fees, monthly fees in the Portland area. They are ranging right now from $1,500 a month to about $8,000. And I say literally everything in between, and I mean that. You should see our price list. We have 374 independent living homes, so it's a long list, and pretty much any point in there you could point, and there's a home with that fee. Okay, so financial qualification, there is a process when you become a member here. The financial application we have you fill out, we do ask you for your income, your expenses, what assets you have, and your net worth. And then we have our CFO take a look at that and do an analysis and determine whether or not the home that you're applying for is something that you can qualify for. And the question then becomes, well, how do I know if I will qualify? So we have a rule of thumb, and it really is a rule of thumb, because there's a lot of nuance and a lot of, well, what if your income comes from this source or that source? So for those of you wondering what you can afford, the rule of thumb is this. It is 3 times, we look for 3 times the membership fee, that one-time fee, in net worth. So if your membership fee is $300,000, we're going to look for about $900,000, give or take, $900,000 or so in net worth. If your monthly fee is $2,000, we're going to look for 2 times the monthly fee in net income. So again, that's a rule of thumb. I've seen people where they have, really low income because they're, that's what they've been taking maybe from their IRAs because they haven't really needed it, but yet they have really high assets. So those two things can balance each other out. So I don't want you to think, oh my goodness, I only have, pension of $5,000 a month and that's all I get. But if you've got $3 million in net worth and you only want a 1-bedroom home in the tower, you're fine. Last big difference is when you're in a nonprofit community like Terwilliger Plaza, you potentially can write off and deduct a percentage of your membership fee and your monthly fee as a medical expense. So, and it's typically the year that you move in and pay that one-time membership fee, it can add up to quite a nice little deduction on your taxes. So again, we don't provide tax advice, but I usually highly, highly recommend that you work with whoever does your taxes or really analyze that so you know how you can benefit the most from that. So each year our CFO, after the audit happens, which we do have an outside auditor that looks at our books, and I guess that's another entity that's taking a look at our financials. Once they determine that we did everything right and there's no mistakes in our financials, they will prepare a document that says, we believe this is how much the IRS will allow you to use as a tax deduction for medical and also a little bit of the property tax. So again, that's very different from for-profits. If you're in independent living in a for-profit community, to the best of my knowledge, there is not a tax deductibility for medical or property tax. I do understand if you were in assisted living, that probably would qualify. Again, I'm not a tax person, but so that could be different. But overall, if you're just living in independent living, you would not be able to write that off if you're in a for-profit. All right, so that was a ton of information. So we will have Q&A at the end. It looks like there's some questions coming in. I'll go ahead and have JoJo talk a little bit more about our health care and health services, and then we'll answer questions at the end.
Lovely. Hello, it's me again, JoJo. I'm talking about health services. The goal when somebody comes to Terwilliger Plaza is that we'll be able to take care of them till end of life. For those of you that are wanting to stay in your home until you need assisted living, I get it. You love your home, you love your garden, but you have to come in through independent living at Terwilliger Plaza. So assisted living would not be an option from the beginning. So I'm sorry about that. And one of the reasons is we've got over 500 people that live here, and the majority of them are independent. So we always save a few apartments for any of our own members in the event that something happens and they need to move on to having 24-hour care. That's a good reason for wanting to move into independent living. When you're able to get around, make new friends, you still have gas in your tank, because moving when you're not feeling good That's the last thing you want to do is move. So let's say you're in independent living and you need a little bit of help. Maybe you took a tumble and you're afraid to take a shower by yourself, or you're just exhausted from doing personal laundry and making your breakfast and your lunch. We have our very own in-home care services called Ally. And they can offer companionship. They can be an escort to your doctor's offices. They can go shopping with you. There's a lot of things they can do, or just sitting there and offering to write out holiday cards. But they are available here. What I love about Ally is that you don't have to hire them for 4 hours a day. Most of those in-home care companies out there in the Portland area, the average is about $43, $44 an hour. So there is a fee here. It's $42.50 an hour, but you don't have to have it for 4 hours. If you just need to put those tight TED hose on that so many people have a challenge with, it may take 15 minutes. So you can hire them for that 15 minutes in the morning to get you up and going. And they really are supporting our independent members, because we do want to keep people in independent living for as long as possible. And who doesn't want that? So we also have, well, I should back up. Ally, even though primarily is helping our independent members, they can also help in our assisted living member area in case somebody wanted to go shopping, or they needed that support to go to the doctors as well. We have a health clinic here. I don't know if any other CCRC that has a health clinic. It has a licensed RN that's available for vaccinations, vital signs, wound care, and a few other things. The clinic partners with some outside agencies that provide podiatry services, mobile dentistry, and a hearing specialist is here quite often. Other things for health services, if you are in independent living and maybe you went to the hospital, nowadays they typically aren't going to keep you, but maybe you have pneumonia, or you sprained your ankle and you need some extra support. We keep a few of those apartments available that are furnished. So it could be that the discharge planner at the hospital could reach out to our staff, and maybe you could utilize that short stay that we offer. And that short stay is just for our own members. It's not for anybody out in the community that gives us a jingle asking about that. Kind of in collaboration with our health services is a third-party vendor that has an office here, Age Strong by Consanas. They are in all of the rehab centers. They have an office here. They're here Monday through Friday. They offer physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy. And they take most insurance. The only one I think that they haven't is Kaiser, and we're always working on that. So that's a great way to continue any type of rehab that you have. We are maybe one of the only CCRCs that has a Department of Social Services, and our director provides support and resources to our members and acts as a liaison between our members, their families, and services that we offer here at Terwilliger Plaza. She also, Katrina Magnetti, she is our Director of Social Services. She is just a miracle worker. She facilitates a meeting, I think it's a couple times a week, and it is with a whole support team of our clinic nurse, our in-home care manager, our vice president of health, our wellness manager. There's a whole bunch of them, and they get together and they talk about how can we support some of our members that are going through a change, whether it's a new diagnosis, an upcoming surgery, loss of a loved one, something traumatic that is really impacting their health. And so this team works. They are your support team, and they're here to help you get through those speed bumps in life and come up with some opportunities for, maybe it's some in-home care, maybe it's some physical therapy, maybe it's that short stay. But you don't have to, people that don't have a family around or don't have loved ones to help them figure out all pieces of the puzzle on aging. This team is your support team here. And that's for everybody here at Terwilliger Plaza. One of the things I love about our assisted living, so in assisted living, we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mentioned this earlier. It is very unique, very rare. And the nice thing about living in assisted living is you are not limited to the activities just in assisted living, just in your little bubble there. You've got access to the entire campus. So for those people that have their mind as sharp as a tack, but their body is just given out, staff can get them to the book group or the lectures, the library, the music. So it really opens up a nice opportunity to really work on one of those 7 dimensions of wellness, is what our wellness team calls it. We have a fantastic wellness team, an aquatic center, myriad of fitness programs that are calibrated at different levels of fitness, including we've had dance class, we had recently tap dancing, Tai Chi. I Chi, does anybody know what I Chi is? It's Tai Chi, but it's in the water. Balance programs, one fall can be a game changer. So we do a lot of programming with balance, and water aerobics, nature walks, meditation. There's this fantastic state-of-the-art gym that we have, and 3 personal trainers that teach a lot of the classes. You can hire them privately if you'd like to. But it's and that track across the street that Jessica had mentioned, it's just a big focus of ours is keeping people independent for as long as they can. Massage, who doesn't love a good massage? That can be part of wellness. Through our salon, we offer massage services, reflexology. I did this recently. Facials, nail care, health, hair care, and we even have a pet groomer for those people that have little pooches. What else? A lot of questions we have about, do you have memory care? We don't believe in placing people in an area according to their diagnosis. We believe in a more integrated approach and do offer memory support. It's possible, believe it or not, to take care of people with dementia alongside other people rather than segregating them behind locked doors. And we are certainly not alone in this belief. It's a growing movement. Studies have shown that people that have had dementia and Alzheimer's function at a much higher level socially and emotionally and longer if they're not segregated. So that is our belief. We do have programming to help. Our staff have to go through dementia training, and we've got programs for people that may need a little bit more stimulation for their memory. We've got some systems in place. We have black carpet that's by the exits, which studies have shown people with dementia, their depth perception is off, so they won't cross over that. I was on a tour recently and I saw that in action. I was showing somebody assisted living and she stopped in her tracks. So it's a wonderful tool that we have to support our people that have some memory loss. We also have something that looks like a Fitbit, and it will help support somebody with dementia that maybe they like to go for a walk. They've been here for 20 years and they had their routine, and we're starting to get reports that maybe they're getting lost inside the building. We're a good sized building here. And that we can put this Fitbit on them with the doctor's order. And that will, if they get too close to the doors of our assisted living building called the Terrace, the doors are going to lock for a short amount of time to alert staff that somebody might be wanting to go someplace and might need some help. And let's see, what else can I talk about? I think that may be it. There's lots and lots of questions people have about the healthcare system. Yes, you can be here on hospice. Even if you're in independent living, hospice support can support you in that area. So I think that's kind of it.
Thank you, JoJo. All right, we do have a few questions already, so we'll try to go through those fairly quickly. I know some people have another event to go to. So the third option, I think this relates to the membership fee. There's the traditional, which is non-refundable after 40 months. There's a 50% refundable and an 80% refundable. Somebody said they're here that the 40-month refundable membership is on diminishing basis. That's correct. It amortizes down. At the end of 40 months, it would be a zero amount refund. If you are the only person and you don't have a spouse and you pass away, it would go to your estate or frankly, wherever you tell us to send it. The monthly fee increase, that's a great question. It does typically go up every year. That's something the finance committee reviews. The average increase the last 20 years has been 4.5%. Very briefly on the bridge loan for Bob, you can talk to one of us about a lot more details about the bridge loan, but if you are interested in coming to Terwilliger Plaza, we do have a relationship with a company called Second Act, and that is all they do is home equity loans for people like you who might be coming to a community and still need to sell their home. So we have a bunch of information on that. If you want that, just let us know. And I did forget the range of membership fees. So right now our membership fee range is very wide. It's $86,000 for a studio, all the way up to over $1 million for some of the larger homes in both Heights and Parkview for that matter. So again, everything in between on that. So there's something for everyone typically. Let's see, do we have a waiting list? No. JoJo or Jess, do you want to talk about the waiting list option?
I'll talk about it. So we don't have the standard waiting list. I know a lot of communities you can put down like $1,000 and be on a 3 to 5 year wait and just kind of move up the line and then get notified. If you are looking at making a move before that 3 to 5 year window, this is ideal for you. If you're wanting to make a move in the next 6 months, year, 2 years, you don't have to go to the end of the line. That should not suggest that we have available apartments in every single floor plan right now. We do typically stay at a pretty high occupancy, but there's a lot of things that you can do. And I encourage you to meet with members of our team so that we can learn what's on your wish list and your timeline as far as budget, view, floor plan, amenities, those kinds of things, so that when something comes open, we can get you in a good position to make a quick decision and a quick move. It works really well. There's a lot of people that have successfully moved in here on this system, and it's not drastically different, frankly, than what you find in other communities that have a waiting list. I found, most times if you get a call, you have 24 hours to make a decision on a home, and then they move on to the next person. Here, we will notify people when something comes available, and you would have to make a quick decision to decide if that's the one that you want, or if you want to wait for another home to come available, which obviously a lot of people do. It's never a pressure situation. We will alert you to a home, and if you decide that the time is right, we're not making a decision for you. We're not telling you that you're not ready. You can tell us if you are. So it works quite well.
Thanks, Jess. Let's see, a question about if a couple joins and one or both move to assisted living, does the membership fee move with them? It does. Yeah. Once you come in independent living, you don't have to pay another membership fee if you should need to move to assisted living. So yeah, it's just a one-time fee. And then if you end up going to assisted living, you're good. The monthly fee, just so you know, the monthly fee would definitely change if you're in assisted living, since, as JoJo mentioned, our assisted living does have 24/7 licensed nurses on staff. Okay, here we have a question about, are you able to assist all levels of memory care for dementia? Have you had residents who had to move because of memory care needs? What happens to a resident you cannot care for? JoJo, did you want to touch on that? Or
I can
Ryan?
take that one.
Perfect.
Yeah. We, as we mentioned, we do not have a like locked designated memory care certified unit. So as people age and transition to assisted living, often that journey is incredibly unique to that person. And sometimes people do have more of a higher need than others for a dementia specific or memory care specific community. While our structure is staffed and physically arranged to accommodate most people who have cognitive decline of some kind, there is a limit at Terwilliger Plaza related to things like behaviors or exit-seeking wandering, like most memory care communities also, even if they're licensed or endorsed in memory care, they too have limits on what kind of care that they can provide. For instance, there's specialty memory care communities that are designed specifically for behavioral management. Most CCRC's memory care settings would not be able to accommodate that either. This is something that we are looking at for our future of offering a locked or more of a certified programmed unit, but right now that's not. And in full transparency, because again, we want you to make the decision that's best for you when considering all your options out there. There have been very infrequent times where we have assisted them in finding the appropriate memory care location. While it's very, very rare, it does happen on a very limited occasion.
Thank you, Ryan. So there's a question about if it looks like a couple and perhaps one needs to be in assisted living and one stays in independent living. Is there a monthly fee? Is, I believe, what it's asking for both. And the answer to that would be yes. Now, sometimes, let's say you're in a really large 2-bedroom corner home and one of you goes to assisted living, you may decide or choose or frankly need to move to a smaller home in independent living if one is going to assisted living, because certainly your monthly fee in assisted living would be higher than the independent living. Right, we have a lot of questions. This is good. Love this. Average non-refundable buy-in for a 2-bedroom. I realize there will be a range. Yeah, there's a huge range. It's about 210,000 to over $1 million. And that was from Lewis. We can send you, Lewis, an email if we have your email address with the fee sheets for all 3 of our independent living buildings. And they are broken out by 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, and so forth. So you can kind of see it. It is such a wide range because we have the 3 different buildings that do have various different amenities. No, their question is there a medical test for entrance? There is not. We do not ask you medical questions. The 2 reasons that we can, quote, disqualify you if we had to, which of course we try not to, would be is if you're not 62 years old or if you do not meet the financial qualification criteria for the home that you are choosing. But there's no, some people, especially if you've looked in other states, there is only one community in Oregon that I'm aware of that's in Newburgh. That's what's called a type A community. Actually, Ryan used to work at one in Seattle that was a type A, and those types of communities do ask you for medical information. And part of that is because they're essentially guaranteeing that they're going to pay for your health care. Ryan, do you have anything to add to that?
So we're considered a type B, which is just a very, very typical CCRC type of contract. But a type A is classified as like a life insurance plan, which is why they are able to do a financial and cognitive screening to qualify for that agreement. Because in a type A community, as you age through the continuum, there is a what's called, what generally is referred to as a life care rate. And every person, no matter their care level or which, whether it's assisted living and they have a certain care level, there's just a set rate, regardless if you need a ton of care or just a little bit of care in the nursing. If you move into the nursing home portion, same thing, it's a set rate. And so that's how a type A contract would work. But being a type B, like the rest of the CCRCs in Oregon, with the exception of that one in Newberg, we all do a discounted rate off of whatever room and board and care levels that you need versus a flat rate. So it's as a member, a contracted member of the community, you get a discount off of what would be market rate for being a member and aging through the continuum.
All right. So can a couple stay together in assisted living when only one needs additional assisted living care? Yes, you can do that. It depends on the situation, whether that may or may not be a good idea, but we have definitely had couples. As a matter of fact, we had one couple start an independent living. The wife needed additional care. They both moved to assisted living. They really, really wanted to stay together. That was very important to them. A few years later, she passed away, and he moved back into independent living, which is where he is today. So lots of flexibility. Our care team and our social service director can help you kind of assess at that point whether that's a good idea or not. Sometimes, if you are together and you've been the primary caregiver and you're exhausted, sometimes staying together is not going to be able to relieve you of that exhaustion. But it's certainly an option. We would never tell someone that they couldn't be together with their spouse. If you pay a membership fee for a larger home unit, then you move to a smaller one, how is the difference in the membership fee managed? That is covered in our residency agreement. And what happens there, if you move into a home that's $800,000 and 5 years later you say, I want this other one over here that's $500,000, you do not get that $300,000 back. So it's a good idea to make sure if you're going to do a transfer, a move from one home to another, if you're going to do an internal transfer, probably would go up and pay more for that transfer, but you can't go the other way. You're not going to get a refund of that. Yes, you can call our membership number, which is 503-808-7870. You can also visit our website and let us know that you want to take a tour. We will typically send you a brochure. Certainly, if you've already attended this event, we would be more than happy to set up a tour for you. And that would be with myself, JoJo, or Jess. So yeah, but give us a call or send us an email and we'd be happy to set that up. Well, thank you again for joining, and have a wonderful weekend, and let us know if you want to come tour. Thank you so much.